Welcome back to Opinion Leaders, everyone. And before we go back to our interview proper, there's a short VTR that we would like to show you now.
We pretend that the problem does not exist, but for so long, child labor has been putting the nation in crisis and the Filipino child's future in serious danger, believing that manual labor can end their poverty. Let's get real. Child labor exists, and poverty is never an excuse to brush aside the most basic right of every child, education. Call ABK Initiative on how you can be part of the solution.
Okay, guys, that was our short video clip. So going back to our problem of child labor, let's talk about possible solutions. It's wonderful that World Vision is having this ABK2. And what exactly do you do? How did you get started with this? And Miriam, why was this your personal advocacy?
Well, this position, opportunity, was offered to me in 2006 when I moved back from Hong Kong. And during that time, I was nursing a broken heart. And I felt that I needed something to keep me busy, something that will make time worthwhile for me. And because I didn't have kids of my own, I felt like I could take care of somebody else's kids. And this opportunity came over, and it turned out it was a blessing because it took my mind off my own problems, and it also gave me opportunity to be blessed and bless others by sharing of myself. And that's really how it started. And so far, well, Daphne keeps saying, Daphne at times keeps saying, you're such a blessing, but you know, really bottom line, I really feel like it was more of a blessing for me because it helped heal me, it helped give more meaning in my life, and I'm just really honored and humbled to be given opportunity to share and give.
Thank you very much.
Make a difference.
Yeah, for being honest. That was very, very touching. It's true. Sometimes when we have problems, we realize, well, in my life too, that you can't really solve them. But when something comes in, then you just overcome them, okay? And after you do something meaningful, then you realize it wasn't that much of a problem.
Exactly.
Right? Okay, so going back to that. So World Vision is reaching out to many people, many organizations. I'm sure, Ma'am Daphne, there are a lot of challenges and hurdles. Can you tell us a few of them?
Yeah. First, perhaps I'd like to share the 4 goals of the project. The first goal is really to increase the awareness on the difference of child labor and child work and the importance of education, the rights of children, so that in increasing the awareness, we start changing attitudes, so that attitudes of parents towards their children change, attitudes of employers would change, attitudes of local government officials would change. And then the second goal of the project is really to work together with DepEd, the Department of Education, to increase the quality and relevance of education in the Philippines. Most of the children we assist are enrolled in public schools if they go to school at all. And we've done a lot of work with the Department of Education, training teachers so that they better understand the situation. And we're happy because now there are more teachers who work beyond their usual classroom hours. They are one with us in doing research in their community, one with us in doing advocacy at the local levels. And they've improved their teaching capacities, and they've gone beyond the call of duty by helping in catch-up programs. We've trained para-teachers. These are community people who didn't finish college, but they're able to help teach children. We've trained a number of our child leaders to become little teachers. So in communities where we are operating, there are learning resource centers. Sometimes these venues are provided by the local government. And then there's community effort so that after school, children still have an opportunity to learn more. So that the time they spend in school or the time they spend in learning resource centers would be times away from the hazards of the sugarcane plantations, for example, or the deep sea. So we work hand in hand with the school and the community for education. And then we also provide vocational training courses for some. And then a third objective of the project is to strengthen institutions and structures within the community so that the community owns the problem and tries to find the solutions together. And then to a small degree, the fourth objective is to help families with sustainable income or at least supplemental income so that they have, as Miriam said, it's always an issue of survival for most of the parents.
That's true.
In most cases, children admit to working, not because their parents force them to, but because they themselves see the need for them to help their parents. Okay. So when you provide the family with a little more income, then there'll be more to share among them, and there's more encouragement to send the children to school. So in a capsule, that is what we do, and we do it in partnership. World Vision works in communities, so we do it in partnership with the community so that after the project life, we're able to leave the community transformed because they start caring for one another. You have local governments coming up with ordinances for protection of children. A number of our partner local governments have even allocated budgets, and that's what I like. When they start allocating funds for programs, continue what we've started.
Right.
In some areas, they're not able to provide the resources, but because they work together, they monitor children together, then we believe there's hope for those areas. And the project will be ending this year. And we're praying to get another grant for the next 4 years, and I hope you can join us in prayers.
Yes, of course.
But we also encourage local private sector to help.
Yes.
So that when they are encouraged to help the community, it's, as they say, you give man fish, you feed him for a day, but you teach him to fish, and then so he can eat for a lifetime. So if there would be some of your viewers would be encouraged to provide livelihood skills for parents perhaps, or help in, we provide business startup kits. We don't give money to people in the community. We train them, and then we start them up with some capital in kind, but not the cash. So together with TESDA and a few vocational skills training, we train them in a lot of various skills. And then, for example, we provide with startup kits. For example, those who are trained in culinary arts, they're provided some equipment to start cooking, and then some raw
making
ingredients.
pulveron.
Pulveron.
Exactly. Instead of pulvera, they make pulveron.
But I'm happy because in Negros Occidental, the parents are doing banana chips, pulveron, and peanut butter. We're now able to sell it at some malls in Bacolod.
And it's wonderful because there are a lot, I mean, the Philippines has a lot of products to offer. So, I mean, you know, and that's a good thing because a lot of people believe that you just give somebody money and then they can eat today. But there's a certain empowerment involved with teaching people how to fish. Because at least they know that if mawala itong isang bagay, they still have what it takes inside of them to be able to go on, go forth, and continue. Yeah, right? Yes. And one thing, though, you did mention, Miriam, about sexual exploitation. And, you know, this is a very sensitive topic. And if we want to grow up and reach our fullest potential, we need to be of sound mind and body. And although we might be able to save these kids physically, in the areas, let's say, of sexual exploitation, where there's an emotional and psychological factor involved, how do we rehabilitate these children? Because that makes it more difficult, I'm sure. And I'm sure there's also a number of these cases that take a little bit more money, a little bit more time, a little bit more effort, which we might not have, considering our nation is still third world and still developing.
That has really been a struggle for us because helping children who are involved in commercial sexual exploitation is a lot more psychosocial counseling. So what we did was to partner with other non-government organizations who has the expertise in dealing with children like them to help identify these children or those at risk. And then, so we work hand in hand with these NGOs who has the expertise and who provide the psychosocial counseling that's necessary for children to start making the decision to leave that kind of work. No? So, in the beginning, we also train children. We work with the NGOs, but we also have like life skills training, helping the children understand their value as a person, their worth, their dignity as children and as humans. So in the beginning, we'd hear stories like, for example, a child saying, "Oh, I no longer accept customers. I'm just a timer," like to call on the other.
No, but at least that's an improvement.
They may still be there. They may still be there, but slowly they're making a decision to not be directly involved.
And then another step backward.
So you provide education for them so that they're encouraged to study. You help them with some vocational skills so they find other forms of income. But it has always to be coupled with a lot of patience and psychosocial care and understanding, especially for those who have been in this kind of work for a long time when values are distorted. So we also work with families.
Right. Because parents are also an important factor. Like they say, it all begins at home. Before you go to school, before you will listen to your teachers, you will listen to your parents.
And that brings me to another issue that we've been doing with teachers, on teaching teachers about personal safety lessons, so that children, because sometimes children who get involved in sexual exploitation or prostitution are first abused in the home, and they feel so bad, they feel so dirty, there's nothing to lose, they might as well use their bodies and sell their bodies. But if they are assisted and helped when the first case of abuse comes out, then at least they need not go that way. They can be helped. So we've started training teachers to be able to spot abuse in the classroom, so that if there's any form of sexual abuse at home, it can be stopped sooner, and then the child can be assisted. So we teach children protective behavior, so that more and more it has to be a community of child protection. So in all the areas where we work, we really emphasize the worth and value of a child, the child in God's heart that needs protection.
I would like to add, I feel it's really very, very important for parents to be very strong in their value system, because how they treat their children or what they teach their children will be what this child will carry on. And if the parents themselves don't know that they're already abusing their children, as was the case in a certain show, TV show, not too long ago, there is a cause for concern, because the child can be abused even by family members themselves, as what had happened. So, so it's really very important that the parents themselves as well know very important values, and the children are also given proper protection.
Yes, but in like severe cases wherein the parents are the actual oppressors, like in the case of incest, definitely there is a law that will separate the child from his or her oppressor, right?
There will have to be processes that need to be considered, because in cases of sexual abuse, there are centers that help get the child whole again. And then also social workers work with the families. So children are not easily reintegrated to the family until the family is ready to take back the child, until the abuser himself is also helped and realizes that he has to change, because you cannot bring back a child to the same abuser. So there has to be some processing, takes some time, sometimes takes years. But there have been a lot of successes also. There are NGOs that help children who are sexually abused, and they come up whole again and beautiful again and functional again, and they're able to help and forgive their abusers. And then on the other side, social workers also work on the family, because sometimes the family cannot, sometimes they're even in denial that the abuser is part of the family. So there has to be work on both sides, on the child who is abused and the abuser.